Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Friday night pod. Yes, it is the no hair, don't care what anyone thinks Four Lads World Tour. And yes, we are. What a weekend it is for Rangers. What an opportunity. What a chance to get back into a title race that we thought we were out of it, but suddenly find ourselves back in it thanks to what's been a thoroughly enjoyable meltdown right across the city. Yep, we are all here to not to laugh at the misfortunes of Wilfred Noncy and those over there, but to revel in it. Yes, Kenny, good evening, my friend. How are we?
I'm not bad at all, mate. No one would know the behind the scenes scenario that we have just been involved with. Bit chaotic trying to get this sorted, but we're here now, and the Bald Squad is back in town.
That's it. The more hairy follicle challenge folks that were meant to be hosting and on the pod and all sorts cancelled on us last minute. So we scrambled together what is the Z team. Amrit, good evening, my man. Are you well?
I am. I take issue with the fact that you're including me in the Z team, Stevie.
Oh, no, you're very much the A team. I was referring to Kenny and I for about our 75th pod appearance of the week. So we hope that people are not bored of us. Amrit, how are you? Are you good? You
Yeah,
well?
very well, mate. Very well. This is new for me because Friday it's usually the two Andrews, me, Calvin. My wee pal Calvin's 35,000 feet in the air just now on the way to Thailand. So
Yeah, I'm extremely scared of what might happen to Calvin on his trips to Thailand because I've seen Calvin in a night out in Glasgow, and he's very much a flight risk. In Thailand, yeah, that could be Four Lads bail
you
money.
sound a little jealous, Kenny.
Yeah, he might make the newspapers for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, folks. Actually, there's a there's a code just right up there, and it's no longer Four Lads membership. It is bail money for Calvin. So if you want to become a member of the Four Lads podcast, please do scan in and help us get what is only prepared bail money for young Calvin because we're going to need it. Amrit, it's been a good week for Rangers. Good strong victory over Hibs. They now go into this Hearts game and what should be full of beans. Basically, we should be well up for this. We should be ready to go because unexpectedly we find ourselves with a possibility of getting back into a title race. And Tynecastle, it should be an exciting game. They're going to come and have a go because they quite rightly will think, well, we could kill them off and we could take a major step towards the title ourselves. So for Hearts, it's huge. For Rangers, you know, it's a real sliding doors moment. And there's been too many of those in recent years that we've not managed to open. Rangers have to be on the right side of this for once. But Sunday's exciting. And Monday was a different kind of victory for me. And I'm still really happy over it. I'm still happy the way we played, the way we performed. And because I know the limitations, or I think I know the limitations of this team. And the fact that we put up such a good performance, the fact that we did get so much buy-in from the players, even Yusuf Chermiti away back in defence, you know, tackling and slide tackling and doing all the dirty side of the game that we maybe don't see. That really pleased me. So what was your thoughts on kind of Monday and how are you looking forward to this trip to Tynecastle on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean Monday, like you said, was a strange one. There's been so many moments throughout Rangers in the last couple of years where Celtic would open the door, they'd drop points, and we would never capitalise. We'd never walk through that door. We've got to become the team now that takes the opportunities when they're presented. And we have a very unique opportunity now where Celtic are really struggling. So we've got to turn the screw and put some additional pressure on them over and above all the pressure they're feeling under this new regime and the new coach and losing four in a row. Over and above that, we've got to now try and compound that misery by making sure that we go on a winning run where we start, that we're in our ascension whilst they're in their decline. That's really what Rangers need to do. And that comes a game at a time. We had these 7 games, Stevie, which we spoke about. We've had one of them. We've still got 6 remaining. So it's very early days. But I'm excited about Sunday. I think a lot of the positives I saw against Hibs, listen, it wasn't vintage. It wasn't free flowing. It wasn't great. but we won ugly. And sometimes you need to do that to win leagues. You can't win every game playing out of your skin. That's just not realistic. And I think for me at the moment, the main thing that Danny Röhl'd did when he came in was he managed to plug all these chances that we've been giving to other teams, 15, 20, 30 chances. We've stopped that. We've started scoring. We've got a bit of shape, a bit of discipline, and we're grinding out results. The pretty tiki-taka, the free-flowing football, that can come later. I couldn't care any less about that right now, Stevie. At the moment, it's just about 3 points every single week and building momentum and pressure on our rivals. And we have a very good opportunity to go to Tynecastle and get a result, because let's be honest, 2 months ago, would we have thought that we were in this position? All of us thought the league was done, let's be honest. And we've managed to claw it back game by game, piece by piece. And now we find ourselves in a really glorious position to go to Tynecastle and put some pressure on them as well. So I'm very excited and I'm confident. I really am, Stevie.
Yeah, well, I take offence to that. I've always been very complimentary of this team, Kenny. I've always talked them up. I've always believed and I've always talked about their individual qualities. I think it's very unfair to say that I've been critical. Off to Tynecastle on Sunday. I'm actually looking forward to it, dare I say it. Like Amrit said, there's a positivity about this. I really believe in Danny Röhl'd. I really do. And I'm looking forward to this trip. Bring it on. Why not, Kenny? Why not? Why not just go and have a go? Why not just go and, shock us all by actually winning this game and getting us right back into it? Because they players, after they finished pissing themselves on Wednesday night as the result came in, they should have absolutely been saying to themselves, this is such an opportunity for us. It's all there. Go there on Sunday and get this victory.
Yeah, totally agree. And the situation is such that when you look at, I think Hearts hadn't won 5, Celtic are on their run. We've had a run at the start of this season under Russell Martin where we weren't good. I fully expect Hearts to have another sticky period. It wouldn't surprise me if we had another sticky period, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if Celtic had another sticky period. So this is huge. But Danny Röhl'd did say that today. He says we won't be winning or losing any league at the weekend. And he's right, because we're not even halfway through it yet. And I think this is the thing that, for me, is the most important thing. As a squad, they should go there excited and really desperate to show what they're capable of. There is times when this team can play really quite well. And I've noticed, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I think at home we've been a little bit stuffy. Away from home we've been a little bit more expressive and free-flowing at times. And I do feel that Hearts are going to come out and going to have a go at us. Therefore, I thought I'd said something there, Stevie, that really upset you. Your head in your hands.
No, as you know that I was having a peaceful nap, Kenny, after
yes, I do know that. Yeah.
It's been a really busy HR week for me, hiring and giving people opportunities and solving puzzles and all sorts of things. And to be rudely awoken to say that you have to host very quickly. But I am forever 4 lads, as you well know. I've got my cranberry juice and I'm awake and I'm ready to go. Something.
Thanks for you, mate. And likewise, I get in about 15 minutes ago, mate. But look, the situation for me with the team, with the squad, is to go over there and, as you said, Stevie, what an opportunity for them to turn around and lay a marker down, because if you can go to Tynecastle, our record is decent enough at Tynecastle, but if you can go there when they're flying and at the top of this league, if you can go there and put them slightly back in their box a little bit by just making them think, well, actually, it's not just Celtic that are behind them. We are right on their coattails. And all of a sudden you have a potential 3-horse race. And do I expect us to go and win? I actually kind of do. And I don't know why. I've just got that kind of hunch, that kind of feeling that we're going to turn up on Sunday. And I think the way Danny Röhl'd has faced adversity at times in difficult games, like going down to 10 men in the semi-final and just going, do you know what, just go and go for it, and things like that, has got me, it's given me a trust in Danny Röhl'd where I don't necessarily trust a lot of these players, I do trust this head coach to turn around and set them up in a manner that they can go and cause Hearts some damage. It's more important for us when you look at the attacking players Hearts have is to turn around and defend properly, and it's defend from the front as a team. If we can do that, we'll be there or thereabouts on Sunday for me, Stevie. I really do think that.
Yeah, let's get to the team news. Lyle Cameron is out. Bojan Majowski is a doubt. There is 48 hours to go. Danny Röhl'd said on that. And we just need to wait and see. All fingers crossed. No offence, but we're a lot stronger with Bojan Majowski than we are with Yusuf Chermiti up front. I'm not sure that Danilo has been playing well enough lately to get a start. So I would really want Bojan Majowski. As hard as Chermiti worked on Monday night, and I did think he worked hard, I didn't think he grafted. He just doesn't make the runs for me. He's not positionally strong enough, Amrit. And he doesn't kind of do those attacking things that I really want. And Bojan Majowski had out of nowhere began to kind of make those runs. He began to hit form and things like that. So really interesting wait, I suppose, for that one. We'd really need him to be fit. But that's the team news. Lyle Cameron obviously doesn't make it. Bojan Majowski, everybody else we know Giga is away now. So there is some question marks over who he's going to play. Raskin is fully fit, and that's a good thing because he had a wee knock the other night, could only come off the bench. Yeah, so it's, you know, I'd love to see. I'll be honest with you right now. I've kind of discounted Lyle Cameron. I don't think Lyle Cameron currently has a future. I'll be very surprised if he's still at Rangers at the end of January. Depending on who Rangers can bring in, I would expect Lyle Cameron to maybe leave on a loan move and see if he can go and get football elsewhere. So the fact that he's out, I don't expect him to get game time anyway, which is a real shame for the lad because I'm sorry for how it's worked out for him. But Bojan Majowski is a big one for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Majowski will be a big miss. If we have to go with Chermiti, it's not going to be as easy as we would like. The Lyle Cameron question, we speak about Lyle Cameron pretty much on every pod, or have done for the last number of weeks. So the fact that he's not available just takes him out of contention, which is fine. I think even if he was fit, Stevie, there's no way that Danny Röhl'd's bringing Lyle Cameron in from the cold to play in what is at the moment one of the most critical games of the season for us. I just couldn't see that. As far as the rest of the team's concerned, Jigger, you said, is away, which is fine to AFCON. At the back, I think Sterling and Fernandez pick themselves. I think then you've got two other potential centre-backs that could play in a three if he goes for a three at the back. So it's one from Tav or Enciala. And I'm not sure which one I would prefer at the moment. I've not really made my mind up, but just to give the pros and cons of both, if you go Enciala, you've got Enciala on the left, and then you've got Sterling on the right, Fernandez in the middle. So you've got good balance, a left footer and a right footer. The downside to playing Enciala is that all season he's had, what, half an hour against Hibs and that's it? Is he likely to gamble Enciala in such an important game away from home against the league leaders? That's something that only Danny Röhl'd will be able to tell us. So on the other side of it, you say, well, we go Tav. So you play Tav in the back three, and then you've got Tav, Fernandez and Sterling. Then you've got maybe Sterling would probably play on the left and Tav on the right, Fernandez in the middle. You don't quite have that same balance. I think Aarons will play on the right as a wing back. I think what we'll probably do is we'll probably go a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3, just depending on what's happening when we've got the ball. For me, the most critical thing, Stevie, I was thinking about today is looking at all of our players, who's the most impactful and who potentially has the most impact going forward in our team. And for me, that's Mikey Moore. So if I'm Danny Röhl'd, I'm saying, how can I ensure that this lad has the most impact? I think you've got to play him in almost a free role behind the striker for me. He's got to be able to go and do what he wants, get the ball where he wants, and move around. I think when you stick him out on that right wing, he's nullified. He's just not effective. And I think we lose his talent by sticking him out there on the cold. I think he's most effective just behind the striker. So for me, that would say you'd have Chermiti up top if Miovski's not fit, and you play Mikey Moore just at the back of him. And then I think you've got Raskin, you've got Dio, and you've got Barron. I think we need all three in there. We saw what happened with Hibs at times. We were overran in midfield. We couldn't get the ball. Okay, it was because sometimes there was only two in there, and I get that. But Hearts have got that big laddie Magnuson. I mean, he's 6'3", 6'4", Cammy Devlin. I mean, these guys are quality players. If we give them too much time and space in the middle of the park, they will punish us. So I think we've got to have that three in the middle, Magoma on the left, Aaron's on the right, and then it's your pick. Are you going to take Tav or are you going to take Enciala?
I think there's plenty of questions there, that's for sure. Bayrami update, people asking. Nadeem Bayrami's about 3 weeks, folks, so unlikely that he will feature in this kind of 6-game run we currently have, unfortunately. I would predict maybe he might be available for the Aberdeen doubleheader if we're lucky, but that's kind of where Nadeem Bayrami is about. I would expect probably after. Interesting one on Cammy Devlin. Craig Halkett also. Craig Halkett, somebody I would quite like to get. Beat Hearts on Sunday and go and launch a bid for Halkett and Devlin just to on Bosman's to knock them about a wee bit of that kind of play. That's what Rangers used to do. That's what Walter would have done, Kenny. Amrit makes some good team choices there, or good points. What do you think about? Honestly, I'm delighted. Alsatians all over Scotland have been cowering when he's been speaking, so I'm delighted that there's been no mix of that. But what about Mikey Moore in the 10? Does that suit you? Is there much you would change from what Amrit said there?
No, there isn't actually. I would be going with the three at the back. I would be inclined to start with Tavernier for his experience over Enciala, who hasn't played much this season. I think the back three picks itself, as Amrit has said. I think the back five effectively picks itself with Aarons and Magoma. The midfield picks itself, and I do actually totally agree. More or less, I'm not too concerned if Miovski's not fit. I don't think he'll start Miovski anyway. If he can make the bench, great, because I do think he'll start with Chermiti anyway, because Miovski's carrying that injury at this minute of time. But if he can come on and give us 20 minutes, half an hour if the game's tight, perfect. It gives us another option. Otherwise, you're looking at him and it's Danny, isn't it? It's Danilo, and that's it. Which means it's kind of difficult. But what an opportunity for Yusuf Chermiti on Sunday if he does start. What an opportunity to make, again, make a bit of a mark for yourself. Go and turn around and take the opportunity, because I understand the frustrations with a kid. We all have them. But I'll tell you what, without getting too, vernacular about it, I thought he worked his arse off on Monday. I thought he really did work hard. On front of goal, it's not working for him. We get that, but that's where I'm looking at it. I actually don't think Miovski's going to start anyway, which means you are looking at Chermiti. But I think when you look at Hearts' defence, I think you want a big physical lad up there anyway. I'm not convinced that Miovski's that guy. So for me, it's one of those situations where Danny Rowe could completely surprise us and play before and play a really open game of football. I don't know, but I would want to see the back three. I would want to see three centre halves there, because of the kind of pace and the ability they have up front. They have potential to score goals, and I want to nullify that. So that's where I would put the extra body there. Don't know what you think, Stevie, but that's kind of my take on it, is that thinking about it today, I would be playing with a back three.
Yeah, I would go to the three. I wouldn't play James Tavernier though, folks. I would play Enciala, Fernandes and Sterling. And that's way left field for me, because I thought Enciala was well out of it, but I think James Tavernier has been really badly out of form recently. So Enciala would come on the left for me. Midfield of Raskin, Diamande, Barron, Mikey Moore in a 10, and he would be behind Finlay Curtis, who I would play as a 9 through the middle. And the reason I would play Finlay Curtis as a 9 through the middle is, one, he's got an eye for goal, two, he's quick, he can occupy, and I'm sorry, as much as Yusuf Chermiti worked hard and everything else the other night, which I really did think he was, he doesn't look like scoring goals. He's never making the runs. That one, remember I said, where he went to the front post when the run was to the back, he just doesn't look naturally gifted. Sometimes when you get a 9, even if they're not playing well, they know where to run, they know where to be, and I just don't think Yusuf Chermiti ever knows that. I just don't think he's capable. So for me, Finlay Curtis would be a 9. And Finlay Curtis, remember, I've seen this kid as a 9 in the youths. I've seen him left, I've seen him right. Finlay Curtis can score goals. He's the most natural, probably, finisher that we have in the club, and he scored 60 odd as in from the wings, and kind of, I don't mean overall, because you can argue Miovski and whatever, yep, okay. But with Finlay Curtis, I just seen him score so many goals, and it might be a bit of a curve for us as well, because we're going to need to get up at times. One of the problems with Hibs in the first half an hour, Amrit, was that we didn't get out. In order to win this game, I can't help but feel we're going to need an out ball. We're going to need ball carriers. So if you've got Curtis and Mikey Moore up there and being able to play off each other, then yeah, I think that works better than Yusuf Chermiti, who hasn't been, you know what, he annoys me as well, Chermiti as well. Stop doing these flicks and all that, son. See, when you start rattling the goals in, you can do wee flicks and everything. And that kind of, like, I just think Finlay Curtis for me would be the one. I don't think there's a chance Danny Röhl'd does that. But if it was me, then that's what I would do. It would help us get up the pitch. I think I talked about it the other night. One of the issues with the midfield and why they were so unbalanced is because they were so deep and playing off each other like that. When they got side to side, when we actually scored and Barron went 20 yards up the pitch, Hibs, that all stopped for Hibs. It all changed. And we can't be reactive on Sunday. We need to be proactive. We can't suddenly move when Hearts are 1-0 up. We need to go and make sure that we're hunting from the start, make sure we're up the pitch, make sure that when they do come at us, we're able to ball carry and get out of there. So if Mikey Moore's playing behind Finlay Curtis, for me, that would work with, Diamande being able to be a wee bit further and Raskin and Barron doing the ball winning. So that's just how I would do it. And honestly, I appreciate there's loads of different opinions, but what do Rangers need to do, Amrit, to win this game on Sunday?
Well, the thing is, Hearts obviously are there for a reason. If you look throughout their whole team just now, they are defensively very strong. We spoke about Halkett, we spoke about Finlay. One of the good things is that Harry Milne, who's their left back, who has been playing really, really well this season, is suspended, so that's good.
Yeah.
So
I was sorry, Amrit, I don't mean to jump in here, but apparently Halkett and Finlay are both struggling for this one on Sunday. So interesting to see what happens with Hearts.
Right. Well, that's interesting, because the thing is, even at right back, they've had to play makeshift right backs this season because that main guy, was it Baranovic that they signed, is injured. So they've been playing Steinwinder and they've been playing, is it McAtee or McEntee? And they're both central midfielders. So there's a bit of utility. So if that's the case and their two centre halves are out as well, that back four could be pretty makeshift. So you want to exploit that. But I think for us to win, we really need to get a grip of the midfield. I think Dio, Raskin and Barron need to be disciplined. Dio can't go missing. Sometimes in these big games, he goes missing and he's the most frustrating guy in the world. So he needs to be on it. And up front as well, we need to make sure we keep their front three quiet, Stevie, because Braga, Kidaridis and Shanks, I mean, all three of them, they're effectively doing this year for Hearts what Cherny, Igaman and Dessers did for us last season in terms of their contributions to the team. I think Shanks and Braga have got about 16 or 17 goals in the league between them. Rodriguez has chipped in with a few. There's assists there. They're playing well. They're confident. They're dangerous. So we're going to have to be at it, which is why I understand that perhaps you'd go with Enciala over Tav against those three. I'm a little bit with Kenny on that. I think maybe Tav will be the option for Danny Röhl'd. He's club captain, his experience. He's been in these games before. He does have the ability to pull something out of the fire when we most need it. So I think Danny Röhl'd will go with Tav. I'm not convinced by Tav at all just now. His form's not been great. But I think Danny Röhl'd will see that because he's an old head, that he'll probably get the nod ahead of Enciala. But I think you're right. We need to get up the pitch. We need to have ball carriers, which is where I think Mikey Moore comes into play for us. Draw the fouls, get us further up the park, get the dead balls, things like that. We're going to have to hit them on the counter as well quite effectively, Stephen. We're going to have to move the ball quickly, Stevie, and really have a go at them. The thing is, we're full of confidence just now, and you saw it against Hibs. You know, the guys were high-fiving each other, they were encouraging each other. There seemed to be a little bit of camaraderie between the players, which was nice to see, and that was positive. And we're going to need a lot of that on Sunday against Hearts if we want to get a result.
Yeah, interesting point from Ross here, talking about their goalie. I don't think that their goalie is the strongest, Kenny. Fernandez is probably our obvious target in the box, and to be fair to him, as much as he's been defensively questionable, perhaps, I think that he's scored an excellent header against Hibs, and we should try and utilise that. I asked Amrit what the Rangers need to do to win this game on Sunday. Aside of the obvious, score more goals than Hearts. What is your take, and where are we going from here?
Well, what Ross says is that he's spot on, actually, with the keeper. He's a good shot stopper, though, to be fair to him. But set pieces are going to be very, very important. I don't think there's any doubt in that. But, you know, both in both boxes, put it that way. What we need to do, Stevie, is without... again, getting all dramatic about it, is the atmosphere is going to be electric over there. We know what it's like over at Tynecastle anyway, but with them sitting top of that league, it's going to be some place to play your football. So I don't want to see our players freeze. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see bottles crashing all over the place. I want us to turn around and go and embrace it, and go and play football, and go and play attacking football. But yeah, what Ross has said about their keeper, that's where I would say that set pieces, if we can get on top and get, you know, corner kicks, and as we all know, 10 years of Tavernier here, and we didn't know he had a long throw, start using them, get it right in the mix there, and see what that keeper's all about, because they're gettable. I mean, listen, we're talking, it's Hearts, with all respect. They're a good side, but we should have nothing to fear going to Tynecastle at all. They're a good side and they can cause you bother. We know that, but let's go and attack them. Go and really go for them. And I think if we do that, then we will cause them problems. I actually have no doubt in it. And I've seen him getting a lot of stick for my Amrit comment, but the point I'm making is that he's not been playing Danilo as a striker anyway. I don't think I know what you're saying about Finlay Curtis and the number 9. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Danny Röhl'd going to start with Amrit on Sunday. I actually pretty certain of it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of difference between what I would do and what the head coach would do, that's for sure. Moving on, talking something that everybody would have seen today, Danny Röhl'd, when he first came into the press room today, handing out a Lindt chocolate Santa to all the members of the press. Really interesting from Danny Röhl'd, because Danny Röhl'd's smarter than we might think, and you might think that's just a gesture. Danny Röhl'd, when he came in, first aligned himself with the fans, never once aligned himself with Patrick Stewart or Kevin Thelwell, never once aligned himself with anybody else. The very first game when we got beat 3-0, Amrit, you were there, he went over to the corner where the fans are, he spoke to them in the airport, he took time out to explain. And then today, every time he comes into the press room, before he leaves, he goes round and greets every single member of the press. It's not buying favours. That's not what I'm saying, but there's no doubt in my mind that Danny Röhl'd is smart. Just that wee gift today for all the members of the press that were there. And they undoubtedly, and here's the difference, right? In my experience, the early initial meetings of Russell Martin were very negative. They were, and people found them instantly arrogant, instantly as if we should have been really impressed to have him here. It's a completely different kettle of fish with Danny Röhl'd. Not every single member of the press is Rangers orientated, so there's a desire to perhaps make it difficult. There's not that for Danny Röhl'd. He's instantly likable. Everybody likes him. And what he done today is just another little touch of class, another little gift, another little his way of being welcoming towards the press. And in return, the press find him really likable instantly. Amrit, I think it's just not to over, I don't want to over egg it or go on about it too much, but I think it's just a classy move from Danny Röhl'd. He knows what he's doing. You know, I think he's played since he came in. I genuinely think he's played this role, the way he's handled everything, absolutely perfectly. And today was just another little insight. This guy's clever, knows what he's doing, knows how to make friends and influence people. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wish I'd known Stevie, because he could have come and got candied pick and mixes from me, and I would have given them all to the press, no problem at all. So, Danny, if you're watching, that could be a little
Well, maybe
marketing
you could make
opportunity.
one. Maybe you could make one and give it to the manager himself next time he's in.
There we go. We'll get him some blue bubblegum bottles. Eh? But Stevie, no, I agree with all of that. Danny Röhl'd, for me, from the minute I saw him, you knew he was a gentleman. He knows how to conduct himself. He knows how to interact with people. And he has this, I think he's almost like a social chameleon. He has this ability to find connection with anybody he meets, whether it's the dinner lady or it's the guys in the boardroom. This guy finds common ground and ingratiates himself with everyone he meets. And yes, it's a small gesture, but it's a kindness, Stevie. That's what it is. It's a kindness. It's an awareness that I'm going into this press. It's Christmas time. Let me give them a small gift. It just shows that human element of him. And I think that's why people are drawn to him, because he does seem approachable. He seems real. He seems relatable. And the way that he conducts himself is just perfect as Rangers manager. He's got a lot of class. He's an absolute gentleman, in my opinion. And today was another example of that.
Kenny, you've met him. You know what he like. He's definitely a smart guy. He's very personable. We've spoke about it before. What did you make of that today, that moment from Danny Röhl'd?
My instant thought was, can you imagine Walter or Jock Wallace doing that? No, not at all. How times have changed. And I think it's class. I genuinely think it's a touch of class. It's very clever. It's very amiable. It's very likable. And as Amrit said, it's Christmas, isn't it? And he's just sitting there thinking to himself, that's a nice thing to do. Now, on Danny Röhl'd, you know, we seen him on Monday, obviously, and the thing I really like about him, Stevie, is see when he's talking about a game, you actually get to the point when you're sitting, you're quite, you know, yourself at a press conference, you're listening quite intently, and he's spot on every time I listen to him after a game. He's got it absolutely in his head exactly what went on during that 90 minutes. He's very, very astute. He's very aware, and he managed to get that situation, you know, on Monday, where he turned and said, "No, yeah, well, we probably should have won by more at the end of the day. But no, it's not pretty. We're winning ugly, and that's what we need to do at this minute in time." He said it's all about winning, and that's the kind of drive that you, perhaps on the surface, when he's handing out chocolate Santas and stuff like that, you don't see how driven and passionate he is about getting results, and that is all he's interested in. And he's a very good PR man as well. I'm very impressed, actually, and he's stealing Amrit's job, and that makes me giggle.
Interesting comment from Blue Nose John here. I live in Germany, and that's how employers treat their employees over here. We get an Easter chocolate bunny as well, for instance. It's a wee bit different with Danny Röhl'd. We spoke about it before. I don't want to make this again, the same story and things like that. But how Danny Röhl'd's been with me, I think Danny Röhl'd very much understands that I'm a very passionate Rangers fan. And, you know, Jack even spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. So I think when I'm talking, I think they realise it's different. And how Danny Röhl'd is with me, as Kenny will tell you, is different with how he is with other people. I'm actually raging that I didn't get chocolate Santa today, but I can't go to pressers during the week anymore because I am now an HR king, as everybody knows. But yeah, it was great today from Danny Röhl'd. But one of the most interesting things that came out of the press conference today, and I think he said this to Sky, was Rangers are working hard. They have already began speaking to targets. He's already began figuring out their characteristics, figuring out whether or not they can be here. And they're working on getting things done early, Amrit. That word early, it was just such a magnificent word. to use all the emojis in the world, Amrit, for that moment. And I just love emojis. I love them so much, Amrit. And big smiley happy ones when that one. Being able to go early like that is just fantastic. If Rangers can listen, if we're in the position early in January to be a couple of early signings, to be still in this race, it's going to get, listen, there's a possibility I might even get excited. I might even, and that to me, when he says we're talking about early signings, we're talking about doing business. Hallelujah, Rangers. Actually acting like we should. This sounds good. I like the fact he's on it. That to me was very uplifting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's what we need, because that's what the fans have been crying out for. We want the business done early, get the deals done so that at the turn of the year, we're hitting the road running. The last thing we want, Stevie, is for us to be within touching distance come the first week of January and then not getting in any signings to help us build and continue that momentum that we've built up. That'll be discouraging, not just for the fans, but for the players themselves, because they'll be feeling, right, we've done really well to get into this position. They acknowledge that they need reinforcements as well. If they're not forthcoming in a timely fashion, that's going to hurt them. And if we pick up a few other injuries, then we could really be struggling. So I think that's great news. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Stevie, I think we'll get in a minimum of 3, and I think it'll probably be a maximum of 5. That's where I am. Now, I might be wrong, but that's in my mind. And I think if you're looking at the 3, for me, your priority is left back, centre half, and a striker. I think if you're going for 4, then you get a 6 in there as well. And if you're getting 5, then I would add a right winger. But that's really where I am. I think if it's 3, then my priority would be a centre half, a striker, and a left back. People might disagree with me, but we've got a lot of business to do both in and out, Stevie, as well. That's the thing. We can't just keep bringing people onto our balance sheet willy-nilly and throw financial responsibility out the window. We've got to make sure that things work from a commercial perspective, and we've got to get the assets that we currently have out and bring new ones in. It's not as simple as just saying buy, and worry about the problem later. That doesn't work. That's what got us into the mess that we found ourselves in the first place.
Oh, that's a buzzkill. Why can't we just go out and spend loads of money, Kenny, and get them all in? And big Amrit getting his ice cream accountant head on there and spoiling it all for us. But no, he's right. I would say that people like the departures of Joe Rothwell, who is going to leave the club, Lyle Cameron, who potentially will leave the club. I think there'll be others in there as well. I think there's a clamour for loan players to get sent back. I don't think that will happen in the slightest. I think you might see Ravi Matondo getting pushed out the door. I think you might see a few others possibly trading as well. 3 or 4 out, 3 or 4 in. I think that's more or less where we can be, Kenny. But that news today of the potential of early moves and being ready for January, already speaking to players, him himself admitting that he's put names forward, and I'm excited. I think that's really good, and it's got to be the way we are. It has to be the way we are.
Yeah, and I do agree in terms of the players out. I think that's equally as important, because when you consider some of the players that are perhaps out on loan at this minute in time, or just completely out of the equation completely, I think you'll find a few of them away. I think a few of them will go. I think they'll not be hard to deal with. They will be telling a lot of players and their agents, go and get a club in January. And all that does is free up wages. And I think that is the most important thing, as Amrit has said, is to get these guys off the books. I'm not sure how many of the summer signings will go. As you say, I think the likes of Rothwell and Lyle Cameron are probably 2 that we're probably going to find that won't be there come the end of January. What I really liked about what he said, though, was when he was talking about delving into the guy's character, the potential signings, character and personality and stuff like that. I found that really interesting, because with all respect to anybody up at Ibrox at this minute in time, when Danny Röhl'd says it's the first time he's ever had to do that, I can understand that with a young head coach, but this should be an absolute given at our football club, that you understand the personality and the character and the strength of that character is one of the most vital things that you need. I think that's where, for me, he is kind of admitting that the strength of character in the new signings or in this squad in general just isn't strong enough. It's just not there, and I think that's what he's very quickly became aware of when it comes to when he turned up. I think the fragility of their mental state and things like that, it must have been so apparent to him that he's looked at it and went, do you know what, they are not capable of performing at an elite level twice a week, 50, 60 times a season. They just can't do it because they don't have the character traits for it. And it's a special type of character. I mean, the one that you could look at was, I think it was last week or the week before, Graham Souness was talking about it, and it was John Brown, who was at Dundee. And that's the type of character where a very good player, but on the surface, a guy that had stoked about at Dundee for a few years. And Graham Souness just took one look at him and he said, he just kicked me up and down the pitch. Every time I get near the ball, he just leathered me and got up, and I cracked him back and he didn't bat an eyelid. He says it's that type of character that we need, that somebody that is just a born winner, Stevie, and it's just within them. It doesn't need necessarily be Rangers, you know, man, if you know what I mean, like John Brown. It's just that character that I'm winning and I don't care what you do, I'm going to win this game. Whereas with a number of our players, we've seen they literally start retreating to their shells and hiding within themselves and hiding behind their marker and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's quite apparent that you see it at times. That's where I'm at with this. Delighted that Danny Röhl'd identified that, but quite concerned that our recruitment team in the summer didn't bother considering that when they were bringing 13 players in.
Yeah, Ali McCoy's comments will never really leave me. Young boys, they look like the holy moly guacamole on Chimity will always be with me also. Amrit, I'm keen to get your thoughts on something else. Rangers this week announced the fan survey and feedback for Ibrox Stadium, and we had a discussion about it on Wednesday night. Just to clarify something I said as well, people in the comments were getting all upset because they thought that I'd said an extra 4,500 and sell the rights for the stadium and get us a few extra million. What I said was we start with a 10 million deficit on them across the road, and to be able to bridge that gap, if we can put in 4,500 seats and then sell the rights to the stadium, would make up that money. So just to clarify what I said the other night, I don't want, loads of hurtful emojis over that stuff. So Amrit, what did you make of it? I'm really keen to get you've been to a lot of European games. You've seen a lot of different stadiums. You've seen a lot of different footprints and stuff like that. What would you like to see with Ibrox? Where's the big necessary changes for you?
Yeah, you're right, Steve. I've been to a lot. I mean, the only away game in Europe I've missed this season was Bruges, and I'm glad I didn't get to that one.
Yeah. Lucky man.
What I've noticed, certainly, a lot of these new age stadiums, the one thing that we have unique at Rangers is the fact that our main stand building is one of the most beautiful buildings ever constructed. There's no doubt about that. It's got character, it's got charm, it's got history. It wasn't just banged up and in the middle of this wasteland on the outskirts of a city like a lot of these new age ones. We have a very, very unique setup at Ibrox, and I think firstly we're preserving that main stand, which is really important, and it looks wonderful, especially at night when it's all lit up. But we've got to use the surrounding area commercially to try and forward the interests of the club. There's so much potential there. I think we need to create an environment at Rangers where coming to Rangers as a fan, or whether it's tourists or internationally, and creating that brand, that it's somewhere you want to go. It's a day out. If you look at a dad and say, for instance, a husband, a wife and two kids, you're £100 for your tickets, maybe 30 quid for the adults, £20 for the concessions. It's £100. It's not cheap to come to Ibrox. But then these families are going and they're spending money in the local area. We want to give them a reason to spend it at Rangers. So why are we not creating like little small like children's villages where there's games and there's fairgrounds and there's maybe player interaction, there's face painting, whatever it may be, but create an event for kids, beat the goalie, all these kind of things. We should have marquees up and bars and food and street food that the Rangers as a club are selling. Yes, it's great that the local community is getting money, but if we spend money on Rangers and our footprint and creating that commercial energy around the club, everyone in the community benefits as well. Rangers prosperity is Govern's prosperity. We have a responsibility to make sure that everybody in the local area, all the businesses are getting money and they're all getting trading as a consequence of our pool as a club. So we've got to encourage people to come up to the ground, not 15 minutes before it kicks off. We want them to come to the ground at 12:30, 1 o'clock, because there's so many things going on. There could be a carnival, festival type atmosphere at every home game. That's what I would like to see at Ibrox, because the potential is massive, especially with the amount of fan base that we've got. And I think a lot of fans would want that, Stevie. As far as extending the ground's concerned, the Broomloan and the Copeland are the easy options. You bang them up, you've got lots of space at the back of them. The main stand's obviously more of a challenge with it being listed. And then the Govan Road stand is, there's not a huge amount of space behind that, so I'm not sure what they could do. The corners, I think, are a non-starter with the screens and the stairs. So that's where I am, Stevie. Sorry it took a little bit longer than I anticipated.
Yeah, there's a lot. Look, I think there's a lot to unpack there. Some of it I don't think is possible. Some of it might be. I'm with you. I think they could do more. I think perhaps not on the actual footprint as such, because I think we're limited space. I would like to see them bring up the actual surrounding area, like the footprint of it. Like, we need new tarmacking and all that sort of stuff. Where I would look to put some more entertainment and some more food and stuff like that is the almost like the walkway down towards from Ibrox, from, if you can call it, the old shop, down that way towards the underground. I think there's things in there that we could do, kids areas, and they have kind of skirted around the idea at times. I think we could do more in there. I think we could do more with New Edmondson House. I think we could put a bar in the corner. I always thought that was actually a really good idea. Could you do something like that? So yeah, I think there's things you could do, but the priorities for me is absolutely extending the capacity of Ibrox. I think that's vital. I think that is a huge way for us to bridge the financial gap. It also, by the way, Ibrox needs new impetus in it. It needs, I feel, new impetus in it, and it needs perhaps like a new lease of life. Would have put safe standing in, things like that. It's all a possibility for me. So yeah, I would like to get that, and that becomes a kind of urgent priority for me. The rest of it, you can uplift. By the way, I tend to think like families and all that sort of stuff will come with a winning football team. So you need to fix that bit of it as well. But what I do like is, and I've said this since word go, Kenny, I've talked about Andrew Kavanagh quite a lot, and I thoroughly believe Andrew Kavanagh will do really good things for Rangers Football Club. I think, unfortunately, he backed two very wrong horses, and he's fixed that now. What he does in January, could really help cement the kind of doubts possibly that people have in his leadership. He said himself that he and Parag Marathi will have the final say on these signings, so that's an interesting one. And I think he will do things. I think he will fix the stadium. I think he will bring it up levels. I think he will bring in sponsors. I think he will bring in other investors. Andrew Kavanagh might not get it right first time, but I thoroughly believe that Andrew Kavanagh will get it right. I think he'll put his money where his mouth is. I think him and the consortium behind him will get this right at some point. They forked out 40 million in the summer and it went badly wrong. I get that. But I think they will have learned a lot. So, yeah, I do think Ibrox, Kenny, being upgraded and everything else is something that's a certainty to happen.
Yeah, it is. It is going to happen. And the survey is just stage one of that. Obviously, there will be several stages to it. And, accumulating the data and the information that's going to come out of that will be quite important. I've said this already the other night, but I genuinely believe the footprint is the first and most important thing for me. I think if you could fix that, just the environment that you're walking into will give you a lift instantly as a supporter. I don't think there's any doubt in that. I think it's, Amrit, you've got a shop, yourself, you've got a business, I've got one. the environment you walk into is vital. If it's not a positive environment that you walk, you're leading yourself into and your kids into and stuff like that. It's not. It's just like it's just a buzzkill, as you said earlier on, Stevie. But the one thing that I'd love to see, and I actually feel that the use of Edmiston House, it's been badly used actually at this minute in time. It's been badly set up. I'd love to see that probably, and not immediately. So I don't think I'm going too deep into this, but I mentioned it on Wednesday that I genuinely feel that a place for families to go 2 hours before the game, go and eat, go and have I don't know, a game of 10-pin bowling, go and get a games room, get an arcade type situation for kids. Get people spending money and make it a day out for the kids. Whereas Amrit had said, you've got players in and out, you've got entertainment going on. I don't think that's difficult to do. I also feel that a hospitality suite designed solely for families is a license to print money. I think it's very difficult at the prices that we charge for the hospitality packages for people to turn around and go, right, I'm going to take my family of 4 or 5 or 6 and go and spend it on hospitality. It's very difficult. It's an extremely difficult and expensive thing to do. Whereas if you can tailor that to a family audience, if you like, I think space is the difficult thing with that, because they're going to try and maximize the income from that. I understand this, but I do think that it's a license to print money. If you've got maybe 100 seats, 150 seats that you could sell, and you're getting kids in and they're fans for life, it's an ideal scenario for me. But there is 1,000 things when I stick my business head on, if you like. There is literally 1,000 things you could do at Ibrox and round about that area that you can bring money in, and we don't do it. We don't even try very often. And Amrit, I know you'll be the same. You'll have thought of this loads of times. Why are we not maximising that space? Why are we not generating income out of that? And it's a no-brainer for me to turn around and dare I say it, with American owners, Americanise it. That's what I would be doing. Modernise it, bring it into the 21st century, bring it into 2025, and go and print money, because Rangers fans will buy into it if you do it right. But sorry, Stevie, but you need that winning team in the park.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if everybody remembers the first time we ever saw Andrew Kavanagh and Marathi and the kind of some people from the consortium walking around Ibrox Stadium, they did a big look round on that. They identified lots of things they can do. I would just like Ibrox to get a wee bit of TLC. It needs it. Make it more enjoyable. Can we Americanise it in time? I'm sure we could. I don't mind that. Anything that benefits the club. It should be more of a match days kind of event, more than just a visit to the stadium. So let's in time, long term, we can do these sort of things. Short term, Rangers go to Tynecastle on Sunday. What an opportunity, lads, for everybody. Before we kind of wrap up and before I thank my guests, I would just like to say a massive good luck to the team and Danny Röhl'd as head coach on Sunday. Believe it or not, as grumpy or as judgmental or whatever you might think about what I say on this podcast, I absolutely love our football club to death. I've been going for many, many years, and I want nothing more than Rangers to go and smash a home run on Sunday. And I do believe in them, as weird as it might be. I just think that we can go and win, and everybody has written Rangers off, and all of a sudden, if you go and win that on Sunday, they're right back in it. So good luck, lads. Go and do it. Go and win a game, and go and prove to people like me who have been outspoken, go and prove, and then go and get yourself right back in this race. And best of luck to you lads, because we're all behind you. That's for sure. Kenny, as ever, mate, thank you very, very much for everything. Jumping on last minute. Really appreciate sorting the agenda. We didn't have much to talk about tonight, but once again, we've given people almost an hour, and I hope they enjoy what we try and do here on Four Lads. And I really appreciate everything you do, mate. Thank you.
No, thanks for having me on. And Amrit can go and get his dinner now. And yep, that was a strange one tonight where the two of us had no idea we were coming on till about 10 to 7. So it was a mad dash. And I'll echo what you said. Go and smash it on Sunday, lads. Go and get a win, because you will start to see Ibrox, and it's true, the true environment that Ibrox is, if you can go and get that win. These supporters are desperate to get behind you. So go and do it. Go and get the 3 points. Bring them home.
Amrit, always a pleasure, mate. You've been such a fantastic addition to this podcast. Absolutely love your presence on it. You're bubbly. I love your talk. I love your chat. Honestly, it's great to have you on board, mate. Another great pod, and really appreciate you being with us.
Thank you, Stevie. That's very, very kind of you. I like this new improved Stephen Clifford. Very complimentary and happy and chirpy. You just gave a wonderful, rousing speech to the players to get them behind, to get them up for the game on Sunday. This is brilliant, Stevie. I can't wait to see what 2026 has got in store for the new and improved Stevie Clifford.
Hopefully,
Stevie, you didn't see Amrit at the night out. He's not that nice, mate, honestly.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that in the slightest. Amrit, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on Four Lads Had a Dream. Here's our sales pitch. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe on YouTube. We are so close to 12,000 subs, and that would be remarkable. The uplift in this channel in the last year really has taken off. We've went from 3,000 subs to almost 12,000. We went from 600,000 views last year to over 2.5 million this year. And the rise in the channel and the support from everybody has been absolutely sensational. So thank you so much to everybody that watches. There's thousands of you watching on a Friday evening, and I really appreciate it. The Rangers content doesn't stop. There's more Rangers content live, club at 22. Go out on a Friday night, not another Rangers podcast, go out on a Friday night. I think the boys over go at 9 o'clock as well. And there's just so many podcasts. Please support them. Please like, subscribe, help the lads out, and go and follow them as well. Likewise with all the different Rangers podcasts out there. And go and do that. We absolutely endorse that. And the best thing about Rangers is opinions, everybody's support. So please go and do that for us. If you haven't, for members only, Davy Robertson podcast has dropped. Please check that out, episode 4 of the Rangers Years. We are trying to bring you some content for what you do, which is support this podcast, which you don't have to do, but we really appreciate it. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. That really helps us. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, our very own Candid, our favourite ice cream shop. I'm still pushing Amrit for the Four Lads Had a Dream ice cream. It could be raspberry ripple, bubblegum blue, you know what I mean, vanilla, red, white and blue. Honestly, get it. And you could put like a little bald sweetie like on top for us. Like, it would be sensational, honestly. And our Sunday show, local dark shop online. So folks, thank you for everything. Go and have a great weekend. We'll be back post-match on Sunday. The Sunday show is on Sunday evening with Scott and his team. Fantastic. Cheryl, Doogie, and Rob, as well as Scotty, are all going to be on. And we hope you join them. And we hope that post-match, Kenny and I will be smiling ear to ear, bald to bald, for a Rangers victory. So as for tonight and the weekend, folks, go and have a fantastic weekend. Thoroughly love all your support, and we will see you all again soon. Take care. Not long till Santa. Hope Rangers can give us a present on Sunday. Bye for now.
Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.